Welcome to the Gabbin and the Games. That was our very own God of War member, good Sir Alex Plux of the Cincinnati Pluxes. Good people, good family, good musician. I appreciate that, Alex. That was his take on Quake Zone Rumble from Twisted Metal 2. Listen to this. Scotty Woodford says, hey, he's been a member for 11 months. Thank you, buddy. He says, I'm watching this on the airplane. I just got off the Jericho cruise today, and it might be working with Sabu. I have no fucking idea what any of that means. Sabu, I think, is the lion and the Kate Kazar on Marvel Comics. I don't fucking know what the hell he's talking about, but thank you for being a member, sir. And I don't really know what a Jericho cruise is, and I don't know what Sabu is. Regardless, though, thank you, buddy. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you being here. Hey, before we get totally rolling, I wanted to ask you guys, I've seen a couple of comments the last couple of days on some videos I've uploaded. I have a new microphone. It's still the Blue Yeti, but it's the Blue Yeti X. And some people are complaining about the sound. If you'd let me know if you're listening and you're just kind of like, dude, yeah, here's what's going on. It sounds like this. I would appreciate that. I don't notice it. But you might, and if you can help me out with that, I would appreciate it. All right, let's center, let's focus. We have a lot to cover today in 90 minutes. Hang on. Alexa, set timer for 92 minutes.
1 hour and 32 minutes.
I added 2 minutes because I know, I know that I'm going to take 2 minutes to fuck around. I'm peaking. It's distorting. I don't know what that fucking means. I don't know what the fuck it means. It's weird how it sounds. Okay, is this any better? Is this any better? Test, go fuck yourself. Test, go fuck yourself. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you for listening to the podcast of the show. Here comes a burp. Deet, deet, deet. What do you think? Better? Different? It was better before? Could it be because I enabled Atmos on my phone? I don't know. All right. Well, as long as you can understand me for now, we'll keep rolling with this, but I don't fucking know what's going on. Welcome to Gavin and Games, fellas. Let's jump right in. I have to show you something. Okay. So you might be going, Jesus Christ, fucking Jaffe. Bukaki says, suck my ass. You son of a bitch. Eric Linden asked me that a little bit later, buddy, during the show, but right now I got to stay focused. Look, man, you might notice Jaffe has more energy. It's taken some time to gear up. Here's why I was out last week. I'm not even fucking with you. This is called a CPAP mask. I know I'm an old fucking man. My dad had sleep apnea. My brother had sleep apnea. I went to have a sleep test where they hook you up to all these machines and you sleep. And they, you know what they says to me? It's basically in the back of your throat, you have something that blocks your airway, okay? And they can tell when you wake up, even though you may not remember it, when you just jump out of sleep for a second and then go back to sleep, they can tell how often you do it. And you don't want to do it at all. But like if you do it 1 to 5 times a night, whatever. I was doing it 60 goddamn times an hour. That means every minute my sleep was fragmented. Yes, Jaffe's thong. Go fuck yourself, Salvador. I'll fucking kill you. Every minute. So I've been wearing this for about a week. I'll tell you what, man. Whew, I'm not trying to sell you on it. If you have sleep apnea, though, go check that shit out. It's important. But my God, I've been able to dream a lot more. I have had such vivid dreams. I have more energy. It's insane. It's insane. 6 says, my girlfriend thinks I have sleep apnea. I broke my nose twice. My septum's dented in, so I'm not sure what to think. Well, if you're snoring a lot and you feel kind of sleepy when you think you shouldn't be, call your doctor. They'll set you up with a sleep test and you'll be able to figure it out. Kratos says it's like Darth Jaffe. That's right. How is it called? It's called a CPAP, C-P-A-P, but it's just sleep apnea. Look it up. All right, let's move on to the fucking news that we're here for. Although that might save your life, what I just told you, but it certainly improves your life. That's for goddamn sure. Okay, let's talk about, I want to tell you one thing. There's a way that you can win a $20 PlayStation gift card at the end of the week if you're a regular viewer of the show. You don't have to be a member. But one of our great sponsors is, and we're going to play a little game here, okay? So I'm not just going to kind of throw an ad at you. One of our great sponsors is the Leaks podcast, which I'm sure you've heard of. They basically have a podcast which is all kinds of cool trivia competitions about video games and the video game business and whatnot, okay? Well, they have a new game over there that's really fucking fun. It's movie and video game title mashups, and I'm going to play you guys a few of them. I'll give you a sample first so you know what the fuck I'm talking about. And then anybody, the first person in the chat I see that gets this right, I'll do 2 in a row, then we'll do one later on in the show, goes up on the wheel. Okay, which is here, and on Friday I will spin the wheel and give away a $20 PSN gift card. Okay. Andrew W says, I'm glad that CPAP's helping you. It's important. Rest in peace, Ryan Davis. Is that what Ryan had? Is that what killed him? Jesus, I didn't know that. Okay, but here we go. Let me give you an example. This one's a pretty easy one. Okay, so this one is. Let's do. Okay, here you go. Here's an example.
Jason!
Uh-oh.
Jason!
Serious injury list, Charlie Babbitt?
Yeah.
Serious injury list? Are you fucking kidding me?
Jason!
Number 18 in 1988.
Jason!
Squeezed and pulled and hurt my neck in 1988.
Squeezed and pulled and hurt your neck.
Jason!
Okay, that is a mashup of audio cues of a movie and a video game. It is called Heavy Rain Man. You got Heavy Rain and you got Rain Man from the movie. All right, now you get to play. If you're listening, it's probably too late. The first person I see in the chat with the proper answer will go up on the wheel. Here we go. This is from the Leaks podcast. Tell me if you know what movie and game mashup this is. Here we go.
I'm not fucking leaving! The show goes on! This is my home! They're gonna need a fucking wrecking ball to take me out of here!
There you go. First person to give me the name of the movie, and you got to do it in the movie mashup. Title: Ecstasy Simulator. No, Ryan Bacon. Incorrect. I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds. Well, yeah, Street Fighter's correct, but it's not correct. You got to put it together with the movie. So you've got the first one sort of right. I'll give it to you. It was Street Fighter 2, but I'll give it to you. Gay sex wrestling match. Nope. Okay, Brett Moore, you're close. Now you just got to merge it with Mutant Mode to learn how to play the game. Come on now. BB and Tina. Nope. I'll give you 10 seconds and we're going to move on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there you go. Brett Moore gets it. Wolf of Wall Street Fighter. Mecca's right behind him. I'll do another one later in the show, but let me put Brett Moore on the wheel. You will get your chance to get a PSN gift card this Friday. Brett Moore. All right, there you go. You're up on the wheel. If we spun it right now, you would be the one who won it all. Boo boo be doo, whatever. Okay, we'll play this a little bit later. It's a lot of fun, but going over and check out the Leaks podcast. It's in the link tree below. It's good people. Okay. Let me tell you something. Lord. Okay, let's talk about a couple of things first. The games, and I was absent last week, so I'm a week behind, but not on news. But I want to talk about this. I've been playing a metric shit ton of Dead Space and Hi-Fi Rush and Battle Mode in Marvel Snap. Okay. Hi-Fi Rush I almost finished, and then Dead Space came out, and I've been obsessed with Dead Space. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is delightful. I never played the first Dead Space. I did play and finish the second one, and boy, I'll tell you, what a great fucking game this is. I love that we are clearly, at least last week, now is this a blip? Is this just something old guys like me appreciate? I don't know. Or is this basically, we're going to learn something from this if these games, I mean, we know Marvel Snap's successful, but if Dead Space does great, Hi-Fi Rush does great, are we going to learn that maybe we've gone too far in two directions, right? Last week was an explosion of just good gameplay. Gameplay first and cool IP first, okay? It kind of said two things. It said all of you, and again, I'm not taking the piss out of Sony's first party games. I love some of those games. I'm not talking Ratchet, Returnal. I'm not talking Tsushima. I'm specifically talking about the the serious shit, the Druckmann joints, the Barlog and Williams joints, that kind of stuff that's very heavy. It's nice to see some games that are out that are just like, you know what? Is there a vision here? Is there a message here? Yeah, by the way, Dead Space, all these people complaining about it being woke, about bathrooms, they're morons, because whether it's woke or not about bathrooms, Dead Space is all anti-religion if you fucking actually play it. No one's talking about that. Hi-Fi Rush, I spoke with the director a couple weeks ago on Twitter, and there's one character that really cements a big theme of the game, which is anti-capitalism. Both those games have some gravitas, but it's not front and center. That's nice. The other thing that's nice is it tells marketing and sales go fuck themselves. All of the goddamn fetch quest and crafting and we need this and that and the other to extend the life of the game. Neither one of these games, depending on how good you are, is more than 8 to 15 hours and you're done. Not Marvel Snap, of course, different breed. And you're done. Holy cow. It's exactly what makes these games great. If Dead Space was another 30 fucking hours, I wouldn't play it. If Hi-Fi Rush was another 5 hours, I'd stop playing it. It's nice to see some games come out that really do put front and center gameplay and a strong vision where the individual director is almost like in the background. You can't really see them. What you see is the experience of the intellectual property. It's nice. It's good. I dig it. I love it. I hope it is the start of a trend. The one thing I will tell you, though, because a lot of people come at me, I want some advice, and I also want to tell you to go fuck yourself, okay? Because a lot of people come at me and they say, well, Jaffe, you don't finish games. You don't finish games. You can't review games. You don't finish games. Fuck you, okay? I may not finish games, but I probably play a hell of a lot more games than most people do. I was looking at my list of what I still haven't played from last year. Look at this list. Pentiment, Norco, Sparks of Hope, Mario Rabbids, Ghostwire Tokyo, what's the fucking survival horror game? Starts with an S. It's on Game Pass. I forget. I don't know what it's called. It's like Splendiferous. I don't fucking know what it is. But it's supposed to be great. Stray, Metal Hellsinger, Bayonetta 3, Ollie Ollie World, and Rogue Legacy 2. Think about that. I mean, no one has time for all this shit. I don't know how it's sustainable, but I will tell you that I'm going to try to make a commitment to play more of my backlog, because it's just, there's too much good stuff to play. Wayne B says, true, Jaffe, beat your games. Okay, but if I spend the time beating the games I'm playing now and I miss out on 8 of these, I can't talk about them. I don't know what the state of the art is, state of the design. Why don't I finish them, Nitro? I don't finish them because I get bored of them. Let me tell you something real quick about Dead Space. Dead Space and Hi-Fi, but specifically Dead Space because it's fresh in my mind. Dead Space so far, and I haven't played the original, but Dead Space so far, and I am on chapter, I think, 9 of this, every single goddamn time you get to a new chapter, so far they have mixed it up with something interesting. It's unique enough that it's grabbing me and pulling me along because I want to play what's next, because what they just showed me, whether it was a boss or a certain kind of puzzle or a new mechanic or whatever, is because they've earned my patience to keep going. People are like, there was a guy in the chat earlier a minute ago who said, well, if I don't finish a game, I feel like my life will end. I know he doesn't mean that literally, but a lot of people feel compelled to finish games just to say they finished them. But I don't know. There's real problem when you've got all these games and they're so fucking big and so fucking long. Something's got to give. And we're going to, on this very stream, talk about how some of that, may already be starting to give with some sales figures I got to share with you a little bit later. Brett Moore says, I feel guilty when I don't finish a game. There are kids in China that are starving for games. You need to finish your fucking video games. Jaffe, Dead Space is an old game, says Eric. It's from a different era. These types of games went away for a reason. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They went away not for a game design reason. They went away because the budgets went up and developers discovered more ways to make things longer in order to justify the purchase price. The idea that traditional gamers got tired of games like Dead Space or Hi-Fi Rush and they really want these massive open world collectathons, I'm sorry, I don't fucking buy it. I'm not saying every now and then one of those isn't great. I'm not saying every now and then. I love Elden Ring, I loved Assassin's Creed Black Flag, whatever. But the idea that to tell yourself that those games went away because players made design decisions based on the design, players ate what they're given. Now, I could be wrong. And that the younger generation might be like, dude, no, I fucking hate that linear shit. Grizzly, I agree with you. He says certain games are too big and too long, and I think those are a waste of time. I agree. All right. But anyway, there's a lot of shit coming. Speaking of, this is a big week for games as well. Ravno says they didn't go away. People stopped buying them. There are games like that everywhere. People acting otherwise is baffling. Please tell me what games you're referring to that are marketed well on console. Because I would disagree with you. I would say, for example, you may be able to finish Pentiment, which I guess for what it is did well in a shorter amount of time than Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But I don't know, Ravnos, what exactly, give me a couple of games that are like Dead Space that came out and no one bought them. Resident Evil Remake came out. They bought the shit out of that, didn't they? Village came out. They bought the shit out of that. Brett Moore, I agree with you. He says, can you imagine how amazing games would be if they cut out the fluff that artificiality adds? Absolutely. Evil Within 1 and 2. Well, they bought it enough to make a sequel. Let's see how much Evil Within 1 and 2 sold. I don't know if this is going to give us an exact how many copies Evil Within 2 sold. Let's see what it comes up with. This was back in 2018, so I don't really know how to. That's just giving us the first week, so I don't have the data right now. But certainly it wasn't as big as Assassin's Creed. All right, I got a guy on the call. Let's bring in Cannibal Lecter real quick. Let's see what he's got to say. If there's an echo, I'll figure it out later. Don't worry about it. Here we go. Lecter, it's Jaffe. What's going on, man? Cannibal Lecter. All right, well, if you're there, you can talk. Evil Within 3 hasn't been greenlit, I don't think. Mafia 3 is a long game that I'm glad is long, says Matty DeMarco. Spending all that time in 60s crime sim is so much fun. I agree. I don't have a problem with games being open world from time to time and being big, beefy things, but all of them, I'm sorry, I don't fucking buy it. You're muted, by the way, Cannibal Lecter. If you want to talk, you got to unmute yourself. Ravno says stuff like Hi-Fi Rush is all over Steam, not anywhere near as good, fun, level-based, cartoonish stuff with 9 Inch Nails. All I'm telling you is it's selling really well, and people seem to love it. Okay. Cannibal, what's going on? What do you want to talk about?
No, actually, I want to have a discussion about this, innate nature in gamers wanting to play everything, right? And I think that's the complete wrong way to look at it, because there's probably hundreds of TV shows released throughout the world, right? From South Korea, Japan, India.
Yep, I got it. I know the world. Yep, keep going.
And we don't watch them all, and we have no issues at all, but there's this innate nature in gamers that we have to experience everything, we need to watch everything, or we have to finish everything. And I believe that gaming is all about, first of all, experiencing something new, learning something from it, or just having a good time at the end of it. And you don't have to finish it. Like if you play 5 minutes and you've gotten out whatever you were looking for, that's it. That's done with it. And this idea of, I have this big backlog. No, it's not a big backlog. It's just the games that you have that doesn't wanted to finish. You probably have, a few books that you have started and that never finished. We have articles that we have started reading, we never finished. We have movies that we have never finished, and we have no issues at all. But this innate nature in gamers to finish everything is just, there's not enough time in our lifetime to finish everything.
I don't. Okay, but what I would say is I don't know. I would agree with you if, like, I don't agree with you. There's an innate desire in gamers to play everything. Like on my screen right now, I have a list of the games that came out last year that I want to play that I haven't gotten around to playing. That there are probably, if you include all the Steam shit, 500 other games that I don't want to play that came out. I'm saying that when it comes to TV or movies, anything that I want to see, I pretty much see, because ultimately they don't take that long. Like I just this weekend got around to watching the David Harbour Violent Night movie, which I wanted to see at Christmas, but I didn't have time, and I finally watched it and I loved it. Now I'm done and moved on with my life. Games, because A, they take longer and they're so fucking bloated these days, you don't have the opportunity to play what you want to play. I would agree, don't play something just for the sake of playing it, but like Norco, I may play it for 5 minutes and put it down, but people say the writing in Norco and the point and click adventure aspect of Norco is amazing. Well, I want to experience that. I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to do it.
Well, then you make time for it.
Well, I know how time works, but I also have children and a job and a life. I mean, I can't, but I can somehow make time for movies and games, movies and TV shows and whatnot. But I understand. I mean, it is what it is. The business dictates that this is the industry right now. So we'll see where it goes. All right, buddy. Thank you for the call. I appreciate the chat. Call back anytime, bud. There he goes, off into the night. Let me get this chat on the screen. Captain Crunch says, wouldn't games offered through subscription rentals be more inclined to add bloat for chance of increased months of rental fees? The thing that I think a lot of people get confused on that, because I've seen that argument. I've also seen the argument, or not even the argument. I've seen the discussion that Game Pass rewards longer playtime on individual games and whatnot, right? I understand that you would assume that, and I'm sure to some degree that's absolutely accurate. But if you don't factor in the streaming service, whether it's a television, movie streaming service, or a game service, if you don't factor in the need to also bring interesting games and concepts and things that other people like that don't like this bloated shit, it's possible you could sustain your entire subscription service on these big bloated games, but I know I wouldn't be half as interested, or even less than that. I'd be interested. Pentiment, you can probably finish, from what I understand, in 6-7 hours. Stray, you can finish in 6-7 hours. There's no fucking way I would want to play either of those games if I heard that they were really fucking meaty epics that don't need to be that. Rocker Matt, thank you for the super chat. He says, how can Sony justify yearly only price for its premium service when it pales to what Game Pass offers? Replay Dead Space 2, it's not on PSN. No, it's not. It's on Steam and it's on Xbox. I don't know. I mean, so far so good. They're making a shit ton of money. I was playing around with PS Plus last night, and if you're not looking for newer games, man, I've said this before about Game Pass, but I also say it about PS Plus. If you're a person getting a PlayStation for one of the first times, there was a big lapse between PS4 and people who had PS5. Apparently, like a third of people who have PS5s never owned a PS4. The amount of content that you get, quote, for free right off the bat is insane. So far it seems to be working for them. But I agree. I think Game Pass, as for me, is a better value because I like new shit, man. Thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Okay. New games came out this week. This is Season, A Letter to the Future. This is another one you put on the fucking list I want to play. I don't know when I'll ever play it. I think it's sitting at like an 80% Metacritic. I hear it's pretty good, unique, different. Maybe it'll come to Game Pass. I don't fucking know. Or maybe it'll come to PS Plus. I don't fucking know, but who knows when you're going to play it. This dropped this week. Deliver Us Mars is sitting at like a 60, I think. What do they got? They got like a 68 on PS5 and a 72 on PC. I love Deliver Us the Moon. It was wonderful. I hear this game, story-wise, narrative-wise, puzzle-wise, is just as good. It's a little bit lower because they tried to go a little bit AAA and they couldn't quite, their reach did not match their grasp. But I'm still excited for this. Seasons is an 81. Hogwarts comes out, tomorrow? 8 hours from now. 85. Hogwarts is getting great. Now, I don't really want to play Hogwarts because I'm not looking for a big open world game, and I got too many other things to fucking play. But I don't know, man. Now you can ask yourself, and then look at this. This is February. Wanted Dead, that we're going to talk about in just a little bit, comes out, on Valentine's Day? That game looks fucking phenomenal. I don't know how this, in Atomic Heart, of course, comes out this month. I don't know how this is going to be able to be sustainable. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it, okay? Well, to some extent, maybe it's not, right? You have to have seen this news. This is amazing. Rumbleverse, which I thought was brilliant in every way except it wasn't sticky. It incredibly well executed, great, just wonderfully made game. But I played it for 2 rounds and I was done forever, right? This is being shut down after 6 months. Knockout City, that we've played before on Gamer Night, Gavin Games Gamer Night, is being shut down. That's only been out for about less than 2 years. Crossfire X is being shut down, right? This used to be everybody and their fucking mother was getting into the games as a service because they saw Rocket League and they saw Fortnite and they saw Hearthstone and on and on and on and on. So I wonder 2 things about this. I wonder, number one, nobody showed up for them, at least to the extent that they're having to shut down at this point. So the question becomes, if you're Jim Ryan, are you like, oh, fuck, the bottom dropped out and we bet everything on that fucking bottom? Or, the other question is this just an anomaly? Marvel Snap is doing fucking huge. It's a great fucking game. Is it just like anything else in the business? It's like, look, if you're the best, and you factor in commercial factor, and you factor in, stickiness and gameplay and marketing, you'll be just as fine as you would be in any other type of game. And these just kind of didn't really do those things, or they missed a spot, and in doing so, they failed. I don't fucking know. Ryan Bacon, I don't know. Yeah, and Destiny says Bukaki is stuck around all this time as well. Ryan Bacon says, Jaffe, do you think Sony jumped on the games as a service trend too late? Perhaps. Perhaps. Bill Bones says, poor Destruction All-Stars. Destruction All-Stars has the same problem that Rumble City had. Not as bad, but almost, which is it is brilliantly executed. Destruction All-Stars, especially with the new updates and stuff, they got a lot of the netcode being a lot better in terms of ramming. It's a really fun game, but it absolutely suffers from a lack of stickiness. Like, there may be a lot of strategy there, but it's like I told Scott Rohde when I was talking to him about Twisted Metal, we built the deep end of the pool and we kind of forgot to build a lot of the shallow end of the pool. When it comes to All-Stars, Destruction All-Stars, they built a brilliant shallow end. And for all I know, they built a wonderful deep end. But good Lord, there's not enough desire to get to the deep end. You just get kind of bored and you move on with your fucking life. Move on to other games. JW says there just aren't enough customers for all these games. Well, that's probably a big part of it too, but Bukaki says Destruction All-Stars stumbled out of the gate. They needed to show their best from the get, and the time they fixed things, everyone had moved on. Yeah, you're not wrong, but I mean, there are a number of games that stumbled out of the gate that went on to great success, like Rainbow Six Siege. For Honor, there have been a handful of games that have kind of not been great from the get-go, and the publishers stuck around enough to sort of help build it up, and it's become something better. So I agree with you that sucks. But I don't think that's the number one thing. Raging Ute says, I avoid all live stream service games. They lead to the same thing. Starts to feel like a chore to win, to get the job done, no fun. I will tell you today, we'll move on from this in just a second. Today is the last day of the Savage Land season in Marvel Snap. And one of the reasons that this stream is a little bit late today is because I had to get my final mission done. And I love the game, but I wasn't having fun. I was just like, I don't want to not move on to the next season, which is Quantumania from the Ant-Man movie, without having completed all the missions in the Savage Land. So, you know, you got a good point, Raging. Sometimes it does feel like you're going to work, you know. I think Bungie can lead Sony to the right road for games as a service, along with Sony's development strategies, amazing matches, Ryan. Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. If Sony brings their great technical skill and Bungie brings their great skill along with their experience making games as a service work, and they market it, they'll probably be fine. But you got to be worried if you're these guys. I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if you saw this. John Carmack of id, and then where was he? He was at Meta, and then he just left Meta. But he went off about how a lot of these games shutting down, it would be good if there was just a way to keep these games alive. Because he says, even if there are only 10,000 active users, this is Carmack talking, destroying that user value should be avoided if possible. Your company suffers more harm when you take something away dear to a user than you gain in benefit by providing something equally valuable to them or others. User value is my number one talking point by far. And then he goes in, he says, the id Software co-founder, this is all from PC Gamer, suggested several alternatives, leaving a single developer in charge of maintaining a game, which he says id did with Quake Live. It was the right thing to do. He also says another alternative would be spinning off the project, Meta letting go of a project like I think it was Echo VR, and that they just shut down, and allowing team members to leave, take over the rights for a nominal fee, and maintain it. I agree. It sucks. I hate that. I fucking hate that. Sorry, I was looking at the chat. I'm trying to see what Luke is talking about in Albania. What happened in Albania? I absolutely agree. I hate the fact that I so lost my train of thought. You motherfuckers. No, I hate the fact that Drawn to Death can't be played anymore. I hate the fact that unless you kind of jump through some hoops, you can't play Twisted Metal 2012 anymore, which is coming up on its 10-year anniversary this month, a couple days. This, though, is the hard part, at least with things like Drawn to Death. Here's what Carmack says: the coder extraordinaire then advocates for building games that will still work at some level without central server support. The challenge with that, of course, is at least with the Sony titles, you know, we were tied into a lot of that server support. Everything from monetization to matchmaking to PlayStation Network. It becomes very difficult to extract the game from that when the hooks are so marbled into the very existence of the project. There was a time we could play Drawn to Death through LAN, but the game won't even boot up now without first checking into the Sony servers. So, you know, it is what it is, but it's an interesting time in the games as a service world. That's for goddamn sure. And I don't think Sony's worrying about it so much, but they have to be looking at this failure of relatively meaningful titles, at least two of them that are really good titles. Certainly, Rumbleverse had a stickiness problem, but that should have been solved. That could have been solved. I don't know why they don't release these things super fucking early and just see if people like them before. I mean, look at this screenshot. If you're not looking at the screen, it's very Fortnite looking, but this screenshot is reflective of the quality of the game when it released. When you played that day one, it was polished beautifully. It moved beautifully. The characters looked great. The world looked great. But within 2 matches, I was done forever. And I know that they had a relatively long beta with behind the scenes people, but it was all NDA'd and it wasn't like an open beta. You would think they could have gotten the core of this game working, and the minute it worked, even if it looked like shit, they would have said, hey, this weekend we're testing out a game, come play it, right? And if it was addictive as fuck, people would have stuck around and wanted more. But how do all of this is where the money goes, making it look good and move good and sound good and control beautifully. You don't need all that at the beginning to know if your game's sticky enough. Rocker Matt says Twisted Metal 2012 is on PS Now. It's stupid it's not on premium. That makes me question if they're gearing up to announce another one. I know they're making a new one. I don't have any idea when it's coming out though. Okay. Speaking of what is Sony thinking, speaking of what is Sony thinking, Sony's denied this, right? Sony has said, no, this is not actually what's going on. But Lil Jason Schreier reported this in Bloomberg last week that Sony is slashing VR2 headset output after pre-orders disappoint. So let's assume for the moment that Sony is kind of playing defense here, and it's not true. It should be true. Look, I hear nothing but brilliant things about PlayStation VR 2 when it comes. I'm not even going to get into it. You know my take on it. I've bought most VR. I love VR to an extent. The launch games what are they thinking? What are they thinking? You're going to launch something that's going to cost you $1,000 when all is said and done. And I don't think that includes a game. I think that's just the hardware. And the games that come out day one, as impressive technically as I'm sure they are, as fun as a handful of them I'm sure will be, none of them look like they are worth $1,000 to play. Jake Z says the launch games are great. Well, I'm not denying the quality of something like Horizon. I'm not denying the quality of something like Max Ankar, who he's working on a military shooter. I'm not saying they won't be great games, but great games exist all over the place, and you don't need $1,000 to play them. And the idea that because it's in VR, it's going to be worth an extra $600. I'm sorry, it's horseshit. Because good God, man, I played VR, tons of it. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. At least to me, and I think most people as well. Ravno says Sony has reduced their estimated sell-through for the first quarter, and some idiot misreported that to mean slashing production. It's not a non-story, Ravnos, because the story is really about, is Sony gambling? Okay, it's not Jason Schreier, it's Takashi, blah, 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 blah. Totally sick of onions, I'll bring you in a second. Mochizuki, but it's from Bloomberg. The world of Jason Schreier. It's the shared universe of Jason Schreier, okay? I'm just saying that as a guy who believes in the technology and thinks it's cool and all that shit, I have seen the launch lineup, and you have as well, and I don't understand why you think this is going to be any different than the last PSVR. Unless you're like, dude, I love the last PSVR. It totally was worth all my money that I spent. And in that case, yeah, go with God. I think you'll love this one. Absolutely. I enjoyed Resident Evil 7 on VR as well, Nitro, but not enough to, if someone says, hey, you want to play it in VR? Do you want to play the remake on a flat screen? I want the remake. Onions, what's up, man?
All right, how you doing, man?
I'm great.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. What's up?
All right, well, I've got 3 things here that I want to talk about. And it's only because, like, where I work, I'm about to go into 12-hour days, so I won't be able to catch the stream. So, number 1, I want to apologize for the last time that I called. I was being a dick to that turtle guy, and we were arguing. You were laughing, but I was being a dick.
I don't remember it. Don't worry about it. It's fine because I don't remember it, so I don't even know what you're talking about. What's your next point? Unless you think the audience will be interested in hearing how you were a dick, but I don't remember what you're talking about.
Well, I think anyone in the chat who recognizes my voice is like, oh, this fucking guy. So to you guys specifically, sorry. Two, I was thinking about your chat, your live stream thing. I remember watching you back. I think you started, don't you think, 2014?
Well, I mean, I've been streaming forever, but a proper stream, probably 2018 every day or frequently, yeah.
Well, I was just thinking about how slowly the chat moved and how few people were watching, and now you seem to be really popular and your voice is being heard, and I want to congratulate you on that.
Well, I appreciate that. I think we have a long way to go. I think we have one of the best gaming discussion shows on the internet, and not enough people know about it, and I'm going to fucking change that with your help. Onions, let's go out in a big van with a loudspeaker and shout the news to the world. But I appreciate you saying that. Thank you, sir. What's your third point?
All right. Third point is, since you so frequently throughout the week upload new video game related things all the time without really repeating yourself too much, I was wondering, doesn't it make you want to jump back into game development? Watching the news so closely and thinking about the moves that you would make with different companies, does it make you sometimes sit back and think, damn, I want to get back in the game? Or are you still not limiting yourself? Are you still sticking with the news and the streaming thing?
Well,
Get back out there?
No. So I am doing a game right now with movie games, whether it moves forward or not. We are in the first, if you know anything about kids and babies and all that shit, we're in the first trimester, which means a lot can go wrong in the first trimester of pregnancy. And, if somebody were to tell me, oh yeah, it ultimately didn't ship, I'd go, yeah, it's likelihood. Not because of anything we're doing right or wrong, just because that's the business. That's how it works. So maybe I'm still in the game right now at a pre-production level. We'll see where it goes. But honestly, I'm in the game, but I'm in this game now. I enjoy this game more. I like playing as a fan. I like analyzing. I like discussing games, the industry. I've already shined in that world. I don't have a desire to repeat myself. And frankly, honestly, I don't get what a lot of today's gamers get. I don't like what a lot of today's gamers like. I get called out consistently where people go, Jeffy has some of the worst fucking takes. I hate the word takes. Jeffy has some of the worst fucking takes. And I'm like, so what? It's what I think. I don't need to, we don't have to agree to be pals. But there are things I like and things I don't. I love Game Pass. A lot of gamers on my chat hate that I love Game Pass. I love shorter games. A lot of gamers are like, yeah, it's fucking stupid that you love short games. There's no value in an 8-hour game. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It's what I like, So to go back into the industry and spend a company's money and act like I know what your average gamer wants. I don't fucking know what you people want. I know what I want,
Yeah. Now that you put it that way, I totally get why you're still not diving back in.
It's just not, and it's also exhausting. It's tiring, man. It's a lot of work, and once you've reaped the rewards of it, the only reason to go back and do it is because you love the moment-to-moment grind, and I don't. I love this so much more than I ever loved making games. So much more.
Do you feel like even after the great success of one of your games, any sort of burnout, has that stuck with you afterwards?
I'm no longer burnt out, but I'm absolutely over it, and that's not something that I just did it. I had the experience. I don't understand why I would want to go back and repeat it. I get that people would want me to. Look, I can tell you in other industries, whether it's music or movies, like Spielberg's work, who I grew up adoring, and I still love the guy, and I still love his work. But his work back in the day was he was bullseye in terms of what the audience wanted. Now he puts shit out. He doesn't give a fuck. He's like, I want to make The Fabelmans, and I want to remake West Side Story. Nobody shows up to those movies, even though there are some good movies. But to chase after who you think people need you to be unless you're the president, it sounds like a miserable existence.
Well, like I told you before, I remember Christmas '95, getting Twisted Metal. Loved your work then. Love what you're doing now. Keep it up, dude.
I appreciate it. My son just walked in. Do you hear how loved I am?
Okay.
Do you hear how beloved the people feel about me and how important I am?
That's cool.
Why don't you look at me with awe? I don't know either. What's up?
Have you seen me dog today?
I have this morning.
Okay.
That's it? Okay, thanks, baby. All right, Onions, thank you for calling. I appreciate it, buddy.
All right, man.
All right, see you soon, bud. All right, there he goes. Off in the evening. Okay, I did see Fablemans. It was good, but it's only good probably if you love Spielberg. Like if you have an affinity and you grew up loving the guy and all that, it's great. But as a standalone movie, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that interesting. I think it's that interesting. I'm definitely falling off. You mean like my audio is falling off? Fableman's made me sad at times, Darth Nugget, but then it really, at the end, it was not. Robert George says, when will Jaffe realize the large majority of gamers who like short games are the ones who are well off privileged? Normal people want more than a 5-hour experience. That's why I like Game Pass, you fucking moron. Not to be a dick, although I called you a moron. That's why I like Game Pass, right? The idea that, think what other business model of entertainment can you feel the business over the art so heavily, right? You don't go to a movie and go, well, I'd really rather go out to see, or I'd rather rent Top Gun Maverick, but it's only 140 minutes long, and this remake of Schindler's List is 6 hours long. That's a better value. Right? It's $70, though. I understand why you have to think that way, which is absolutely why I like things like Game Pass or PS Plus, because now you can start taking chances on things that are valuable in different ways. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm fucking saying. I want the art form to flourish. I don't care about the business, although they are tied together. The only AI art I like, Watch Me Forever, that Seinfeld skits. Oh, I saw that. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was like a semi-AI generated Seinfeld-esque thing on Twitter. It just got removed, but I'm sure it's coming back because the AI put in some LGBT hate speech, and the Twitter algorithm was like, hey, that's not okay. Last thing before we move on, Mecha FM says, so you felt like you had to finish the season of Snap, Marvel Snap, we were talking about earlier. Isn't that the same logic of people who feel they have to finish single-player games? I don't know, but it's not my same logic. When I look at a single-player game that has gotten kind of boring, I go, I don't, if I'm dying to know what happens in the story, I'll go look it up on Wikipedia, move on with my life, because I don't have 8 fucking hours. 10, 20 fucking more hours to go. Like God of War Ragnarok, I stopped playing. I finished 2018's, I stopped Ragnarok, because I was just like, I'm good. It's too much. It's too long. It's too bloated for me. Marvel Snap's different because it was like, 45 minutes or so of playing a game I really like, even though I was like, oh, this feels like work because I just wanted to finish off the season so I could get cool shit to take into the next season. So there was still a trapeze swinging my way that the game presented to me, that it's like, jump on this, you'll like it, we'll take you somewhere cool. Whereas a lot of these games that are really long just feel like it's just, you're only finishing it because you've got a compulsion in your brain to go, you have to finish it. You have to fucking complete it. And I don't have time for that shit, man. Okay. Let us move the fuck on. But first, let's talk to Rocker Matt. Rocker Matt says, Jaffe, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, Jaffe, save this to watch later. Should try to get Chuck Beaver on the show for fellow dev talk. Okay, let me... Rocker Matt, is there any way you can send me a DM on Discord? Because I don't think I can cut and paste from my my thing. But hang on. Hey, Siri, remind me at 8 p.m. tonight to talk to Chuck Beaver. No, that's not Siri. That's Alexa. Alexa, remind me at 8 p.m. tonight to talk to Chuck Beaver.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, buddy, for the heads up and the super chat. I appreciate it, bud. All right. Am I hyped for the Silent Hill 2 remake? I don't know. I don't really know, because Team Bloober is very miss for me. Every now and then they hit, like Layers of Fear. Most times they put things out like Blair Witch or Layers of Fear 2 or the Medium that has a compelling hook, and then you get into it and it's just like, it falls apart. It falls apart in the oven. It collapses. So I'm we'll see. I'll wait for reviews. Not I agree with you. Slitterhead. God damn it, Jaffy. Slitterhead. He wants to play way over Silent Hill 2. I don't know what Slitterhead is yet. I mean, I know what it is. Horror game from some of the guys from Sony who worked on Siren. But I don't know ultimately what the moment-to-moment gameplay is yet. But certainly, it looks pretty fucking cool from what they've shown. Okay, let's move on. This is pretty exciting. Last night was the very first time a video game had music nominated at the Grammys. There's a brand new category for games and interactive medium. I don't quite understand when the cutoff was, because the winner was a woman named Stephanie Economo, and she did the soundtrack. I guess it was the 2022 expansion of Valhalla, Assassin's Creed. So that's why it was in this year. I understand now. Okay. It was up against Alien Fireteam. It was up against Bear McCreary on Call of Duty Vanguard, Richard Jacques, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Christopher 10 score for Old World. And she walked away with the award. It was a great speech. They butchered the name of Assassin's Creed when they announced the winner, which was a lot of fun. You can probably see that meme all over the place now. But yeah, she won. It was great. It's nice to kind of see video game music being given that. And it wasn't like an award given like, behind the scenes, like on Sunday we gave away these fucking stupid awards, here's some fucking behind the scenes footage. It was on stage, it was televised. Here she is winning. Let's listen to her real quick. But it was on stage, it was televised, and at the end of this clip, you'll see it cuts to the audience. I mean, and she got real applause for this. I mean, everything from late night shows talking about video games, to Grammys giving video games awards, to The Last of Us being this massive hit on HBO, and on the days of being, video games being shamed, that's clearly, if it's not over, it's almost over. And I think that's great. But here she is winning. I'll just play a little bit of her speech that's relevant to what we're talking about.
And lastly, I just want to recognize all of the people who fought tirelessly to bring this category of video game music into existence. Thank you for acknowledging and validating the power of game music. This is truly such an honor. Thank you.
I mean, and then look at the crowd, look at the applause. It's not like, okay, that's like, you're giving an award out for, the guy who records the Foley for operas or something, whatever. I will say I was surprised that Bear McCreary was not nominated for God of War Ragnarok, because as much as Ragnarok was beautifully produced and it was beautifully animated and it's brilliant design in there. But the music in that game and the soundscapes, the sound design in that game, I didn't hear anything close to being as good last year. And that wasn't even up for a nomination, which was weird. It was pretty fucking weird. But I don't fucking know. I haven't seen what this game is called, The Old World. So maybe that was just worth the slot. Christopher 10 score for Old World. Is that the Amazon fucking game? Is that what that is? But I don't fucking know. Anyway, there you go. That's some good news. That's some positive video game news. Come on, don't fucking say that all I do is run around and look for drama. But speaking of drama, you got to see this. Now, I played this with Spazbo and Rob the Mod and all the Gavin Games fellas when it came out, Evil Dead. And it was fun. I enjoyed it. But boy, I'll tell you, this looks pretty good. It's live now. I'm just going to show you the trailer. I don't want to show you the whole trailer if you're listening, but it's a minute. Fuck it. Let's watch the trailer. But what I'll tell you before I play it, Evil Dead starting today has a Slaughter Royale mode, and it's 40 players using all the gear of Evil Dead, and I'm going to play it this weekend because it looks really fucking fun. It may not be, but I already fucking own it, and I think it's free right now on PlayStation Plus, one of their 3 monthly games. So here's the trailer real quick, and then we'll get back to talking about news. Here we go. Come on now. That looks awesome. It's great fucking trailer. I have no idea if the game is good or not in terms of that mode. But I'll be giving it a play. Evil Dead is a PS Plus game right now, says Brett Moore. There you go. I highly recommend it. I mean, for free. I don't know if I'd pay what I paid for it, which is full price, but it's fun, and this mode looks like it could give it some extra life. Let's give it a shot. So Nitro doesn't agree, though. He says, it's that multiplayer zombie game nobody cares about. Well, I just said I cared about it, you fuckface. Matt DeMarco says, nice, you goddamn right. Stonerface says, meh. Fuck you, Stonerface. Go fucking put your head in a pot of boiling. I love you, Stonerface. You're my best friend. Okay. Let's talk about Dragon Age. Now, look. Dragon Age. Nitro says, it's all right. Whatever, fuck you. So, yes, boiling poop. Dragon Age Inquisition is the last Dragon Age I think that came out. I played it. I really enjoyed it. Of course, I didn't finish it. Thought it was great. Dragon Age Dreadwolf is the new one, and there's some gameplay that leaked. I want to show it to you. It was leaked on Reddit. A guy knows the play tester, had 20 minutes of footage, but I haven't seen the 20 minutes. I've just seen the GIF that they've put up. I'll show it to you in a second. What's interesting to me about it, and there's a lot of things, because I did like the last game, so I'm automatically looking forward to it. I don't particularly think the animations look very good compared to what we're used to. Here, I'll put it up on the screen for you. It's basically, they're saying they were inspired by God of War 2018 combat, but it clearly, for a Dragon Age game, it's pretty good in terms of animation, but it clearly suffers when you compare it to something like God of War Ragnarok, even Evil West, right? But still, that's kind of cool. I'm down for it. I'm interested in it. You can read all about the specifics of it. I'll show you a couple more images from it, but it's Dragon Age. You are with companions. The footage does not show how you are able to engage with them. I'm assuming you can still give them orders and switch between them. And that's kind of cool. The fact that you can do kind of God of War inspired combat, but you are able to jump between like a whole fucking host of party members in the same fight could be pretty fucking cool. So I don't know. I'm down with this. There's some more details over on Reddit or on VGC if you want to kind of really dive into it. But the gist of it is it looks like Dragon Age with God of War combat. And what's not to love? So there you go. That will be out. When is this fucking thing coming out? Didn't they just say they delayed it? I don't know when it's coming out. Alexa, when is Dragon Age Dreadwolf coming out? Let's see what she says.
Dragon Age Dreadwolf will be released in TBA, and it is available on PC, the PlayStation 4,
TBA.
PlayStation 5,
TBA. Okay.
Xbox One, Series 2 Vertical Bar S.
Okay. Let's move on. She doesn't know, but I think this year, right? It's this year, next year. Is Inquisition 3? Lord Garda says, I love Dragon Age 1 and 2. I've not been able to get very far in 3. Don't know why. Whichever one Inquisition was, which was the one that had the big green dome over the sky, I thought was fucking great. Brett Moore says, Jaffe, have you seen the rumor about Starfield and Redfall being in rough shape? I mean, I saw a couple rumors. I saw one that I don't know if it was Tom Henderson or one of these guys that does a lot of leaking, Jeff Grubb, leaking his butthole because he has leakage. We shall overcome. I saw he was saying he released some dates. Like June 23rd for Starfield, which doesn't seem correct to me given that May 2nd is Redfall. That seems your two big games, or at least two of your big games of the year, coming within a month of each other, but who knows. But anyway, yeah. And then I saw that Redfall, there's a rumor that, there's always a rumor, oh, they're in rough shape. Are they? I don't fucking know. I mean, until it ships at this point, let's put it this way. Anything you told me about Microsoft games being in rough shape, until they've proven to the contrary, I would say, yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Yo, Jaffe says when the original Xbox came out, what were the top 5 games you played? I didn't play a lot of Xbox. I played Halo. And I remember, I've told the story before. Oh, there's my girl flying down on the screen. I'll get to that in a minute. Thank you, buddy. I remember going down to the Santa Monica Pier with a bunch of the Sony Santa Monica people, and they had erected a tent. And in the tent were all the launch titles. This was like a month before the hardware unit went on sale. And so I got to play kind of everything that was coming out day one. And I don't even know, was Halo day one? I know it was launch window. I don't know if it was day one, but regardless, everything I played, we went back to Sony Santa Monica headquarters very happy, because we were like, okay, we're not in trouble. Because, you didn't know how great this shit was going to be. And then you play it and you're like, oh, okay. We'll still have jobs in a year. So none of it really blew me away. I was not a huge Xbox One fan. I was a relatively decent Xbox 360 fan. I never touched the Xbox One or whatever they called it. And I love my Xbox X. I feel better now, says Totally Sick of Onions. Thank you, buddy, for the big super chat. He says, here's some burrito money. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about... Let's talk a little bit about E3, just very, very briefly. Very, very briefly. I assume you know the rumor that Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony are now not going to be part of E3. Xbox is going to have an event at the same time across the street. Okay. Nintendo, Sony, whether they do a direct or a Sony state of play, who's to say, but none of these guys are going to be on the show floor. And, no shit, right? I mean, first off, let's be clear. No fucking shit. Nothing that the new company that has gotten the rights to run E3 now, which I think they're the same guys that run PAX. What are they called? They're Reed? Is it Reed? Or something? But they're the guys who run PAX. Nothing they have announced so far at a Reed Pop is what they're called. At a fan issue, or as somebody who used to work in the industry issue, makes me go, I want to be at that show, or if I had a game, we need to have that game at the show. Right? It's been very sparse when it comes to details. The details they've leaked have been like, if they can make it work, great. But nothing's like, dude, that sounds fucking great. So the idea that anybody is surprised that the hundreds of thousands of dollars that are usually spent to be at E3 and fly your employees down and put them up and pay for all the fucking food and hotels and bottle service, yes, they expense that sometimes. I'm not surprised. It did get me thinking. If you look at your screen, I mean, back in the day, and I have good news and bad news. The old days of E3 are over, right? I'm looking at the E3 issue of EGM from 1995. That's when we were there the first time. That was the first E3. And yeah, I mean, it was a delight, man. You would get your magazines in the mail and all these, I mean, I was at the E3s, but all these new games that you had never heard of before. it was like Christmas. It was Christmas before Christmas. It was fucking fantastic. And going was fucking fantastic. But those days, you know, they're over. They're just absolutely over. And I think if Reed Pop wants to put on a show and call it E3, they really basically need to do it just for the fans and create some kind of motivation to get the companies there. But that's never going to be like, we're going to premiere all of our shit at E3. That's just stupid. I will tell you this, though, and I've said this time and time again. I don't know how many of you people who have a PC listen to me, but you need to listen because it's related to E3. Matt DeMarco and Mutant Mo are talking about they loved getting the magazines in the mail. When you get the magazines for E3, it was wonderful. It was only eclipsed by the holiday magazine issue because you probably know this, but if you didn't read magazines around back in the day, video game magazines, January, February was the thinnest issue usually. And then as the year went on, it would start to fatten up until you got to around September, October, November, December. And those goddamn things were like a fucking phone book or JCPenney catalog of just like ads and stories and new reveals. Fucking awesome, right? Well, people say, those days are over, and they are. But the one thing that's not over, that still gives you the E3 vibes that I fucking loved, which was walking around the show the first maybe 6 years of E3, you really didn't know what was going to be there. Eddie Torres says, I miss going to 7-Eleven and buying game magazines and Slurpees. Yeah, and then playing the goddamn, I used to play the shit out of Mortal Kombat at 7-Eleven. But you didn't know what was going to be there. And it was a wonderful, delightful surprise. That still exists if you have a PC. It started today. I'm not fucking with you. I'm not selling you a bill of goods. I don't lie to you guys. Steam Next Fest is now live. I will be streaming it and making videos several times throughout this week. It runs for the next 7 days, literally hundreds of demos. Now, I understand if all you like is the AAA console, this is not for you. Tune out and come back in a little bit, like 5 minutes, okay? Yeah, Game Fan was a great fucking magazine. It wasn't a great magazine, but it was beautifully put together, beautiful artwork. The magazine was so fan-centric that you couldn't really trust it. But yeah, it was beautifully laid out magazine. But this is happening right now. There's mostly, AA and a lot of indie games, but this is where you're going to see the really interesting stuff in design. Okay. In fact, this looks pretty cool. This is Dark and Darker, which I'm going to download if I can find a couple people to play with. It's basically a first-person hardcore dungeon crawler, like playing wizardry but with your friends. I know they're not the first people to do that, but apparently it's pretty fucking good. But the game coming out on Xbox Game Pass day one, that what's it called, the thing about Mr. Fox the detective, which is like Metroidvania, is it like Fox? Let me just put in Fox. The Last Case of Benedict Fox, that's available as a demo right now, okay, that you can play. You can see it on your screen right here. Okay, and so it's 2D. Yeah, well, it's 2.5D, but I don't know what it is, but it looks fucking great. Another one that came out is that you're hearing a lot about today. What the fuck is that thing called? I downloaded it. It's people say the art is really fucking good. Let me see what that one's called. There's a lot of shit on here, is the point. And I highly recommend it. And I think that if you miss E3 or you never went to E3, trust me when I tell you that watching this stuff and downloading this stuff gives you a very similar feel, which is you didn't know what you were going to see, and there were surprises around every goddamn corner. This is the one I was talking about, Planet of Lana. This is also a day one drop on Game Pass. This demo is out. I'll be playing this later on today or tomorrow. And, you can play it and you can download it and have a good time with it. So this apparently is like I don't even know what the game is, like a puzzle action adventure thing or what have you. Okay, so don't sleep on it. If you got yourself a goddamn cockadoodie PC. I wish Xbox and or PlayStation would do something similar. I know sometimes they do, but I wish it was regular. and I wish it was, I wish it was more embraced on the consoles, because I think people would really fucking love it. Wait a minute, you're telling me that Planet Lana is by the Eco Director by Iwata? I don't know if that's true. Hang on. Planet of Lana director. I don't know if that's true. Hello, Kyler. No, it's not. Co-director, writer Klaus Martin Eckertson is the guy who made it. I have no idea, or at least one of the co-directors, but I don't think this is the Eco guy. That's Iwata. This guy has done, let's see what he's done. He has done maybe nothing. I mean, I've never heard of him, but Planet of Lana, Wishfully, I don't know, I think that's his biggest claim to fame at the moment. So, okay. Yeah, Ueda, not Iwata, Ueda is his name. But no, that's not, according to this, he's not the guy working on it. I've only met him once. He was a nice guy, but I haven't met him more than that. Okay. Heads up if you care about such nonsense, and maybe you should. I just want to get you, like, I provide a service here. I provide a service which is letting you know, no joke, tonight at midnight, I guess 9 p.m. I don't know what midnight is for them, but tomorrow on the 7th, Microsoft is delisting 46 games from the Xbox 360 marketplace. If you already own them, you can download them and you can buy them right now and they will work forever, or whatever that means. And you can download them, or if you've downloaded them in the past or tonight and you don't install it, they will work totally fine. But you won't be able to go anymore and buy these at the 360 store. I know I got this on PlayStation. I had never played Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, so I was clear to pick that up. There's about 40 titles. I want to pick up Daytona USA because I don't know where else I can play that. What else is on here that I might want to pick up? That Mutant Blobs Attack's a great game. I probably want to grab that. And those are kind of the main ones. But if you're interested, you should pick this shit up. Also, to let you know, I don't understand this news story. I don't understand why they're doing it other than they just can. Sony confirms it will remove the PlayStation Plus collection in May. 19 games right now. Some of the best games that came out for PS4. They're going away. They were free. You can still buy them and download them. But that bonus perk of PlayStation Plus, they're just pulling it. I don't know why. Why would they do this? Unless they're just saying, look, motherfucker, we make so much fucking money and we're selling so many goddamn PlayStation 5s. We don't need to, we can make an additional $180 million a year if we didn't have to support this. And now that we're selling so many PS5s, we don't have to support it. Let's take that $180 million and do 4 prototypes. I don't fucking know. But these are going away. And I don't, Captain Crunch says it was just for the first years of PS5. I get it, but why would you, especially when you are in second place to Game Pass when it comes to perception of value, why would you get rid of one of the strongest aspects? Although, yeah, I mean, Albania says they will rather sell them. Sure, I get it. But here's what you'll be losing. God of War 2018, Fallout 4, Mortal Kombat, Uncharted 4, Ratchet & Clank, Days Gone, Until Dawn, Detroit Become Human, Battlefield 1, Infamous Second Son, Batman Arkham Knight, Last Guardian, Last of Us, Remastered, RE7, Bloodborne, Monster Hunter World. Yeah, if you download them, you keep them forever. So I recommend it. Go pick them up before this all goes away in May and you'll have them. But they don't have a lot to complain about. God of War, good God, man. We talked about, there was a decline in sales of God of War Ragnarok in physical in the UK week 2. And a lot of people, Jeff, you're clickbaiting. No, I wasn't. I said it then, I'll say it now. I was like, is that because there's more and more people buying digital? Is that because God of War Ragnarok was front loaded and then people played it and were like, yeah, it's really good, but it's not as good as the first one maybe? I didn't know what it was. Well, whatever it was a blip, because God of War Ragnarok has sold 11 million copies, and not 11 million copies sold into store. Sold through is the number you care. Well, sold through means you got paid. Sorry, sold in means you got paid by the retailer. Sold through, though, means that you've actually connected with a hit because people have actually bought it, and after a certain amount of time, they haven't taken it back. Lando C says perception of value doesn't mean anything. Perception of value means everything. I don't know why you would say that. But yeah, 11 million copies. It's doing great. I didn't like it as much as the first one. I wonder what the conventional wisdom is on God of War Ragnarok. Do people say it's better than the first one and they bought this one and they're like, holy shit, this blows the first one away, and that's what's driving it? Is it just that, people know what it is more? I don't know. I know I didn't like it as much, but I'm in the minority on that. So I think okay. But God of War Ragnarok, good for them, good for Eric, good for the team, good for Yumi, good for Sony Santa Monica. Congratulations, you old knuckleheads. 11 million copies sold in, what is that? November, December, like 3 months? 3 fucking months? You out of your fucking mind? That's insane. It's insane. I can't wait to see what kind of car Eric buys. I don't know if he's a car guy, but whatever. Let's talk about Uncharted. I have to see the ending. I don't care. It was too long. It was too fucking long and bloated for me. Not bad. I'm glad you loved it. It's too long for me. Too plotting for me. Okay. Yeah, Explosion thinks it's better than the 2018 one. Okay, yeah, absolutely. That's clear. A lot of people do. Okay. This was a week ago, but I wanted to talk about it as it relates to a handful of things. So, Sony put out an ad. I don't have it lined up, but it was an ad about, hey, PlayStation 5s are in stock. Yay. For sure. Yay. Absolutely. No joke. And in it, they had a lot of live action / CG live action shots from all their games. There was Gran Turismo, and there was Spider-Man, and there was God of War. And it was cool. It was a nice it was a nice trailer. And there was one particular shot along with a group of shots, but the main shot, I'll put it up on the screen right now, a lot of people have assumed was going to be Uncharted. Because what else could it be, right? I mean, every game they showed, you could point to and say, this is from that. This is from that. It wasn't like they were just showing random footage unless this was just an anomaly. So there's a lot of people assuming, online at least, that this looks like an Uncharted game. And it would make sense because the last Uncharted 4 finishes up with a bit of a hint that the not the Indiana Jones hat, that was Shia LaBeouf, but the mantle of being the family's adventurer is going to pass to Cassie, his daughter, who at the time of the game is like 14, but obviously I'm sure they would age her up. Maybe not. I don't fucking know. And so, there was this shot, and these were really fast shots. Like you would have to really pause it to find it. And she kind of looks, she's a blonde young lady. Whether or not that is Uncharted, who the fuck knows? But let's assume it is. It gets you thinking. It gets me thinking. How would people feel about this? So I look. And more importantly, is it a good idea? Now, I think it's a good idea. Well, JW says it looks like Tomb Raider. It may look like Tomb Raider, but given that Amazon is rumored to pretty much own Tomb Raider now, and they're funding the next Tomb Raider, I have a hard time believing it's going to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive and not a Luna exclusive, but I'm sure it will, though. I'm sure it'll be on everything. But regardless, though, this does not look like Lara Croft. People saying in the chat it's Lara, that does not look like Lara Croft in any way, shape, or form. The question then, though, is really, here's where I think this would make sense. I think, and people in the Discord were saying, oh, well, Neil Druckmann last week said that Naughty Dog's moving on. Yeah, but that doesn't mean Sony's moving on from the franchise. Bend has made Golden Abyss, which I thought was a really good game. And so, it wouldn't surprise me. The question is, though, I don't think this is going to be a mainline. I think what they should do is this should be like Uncharted, 4-hour, awesome balls to the wall action game, and it comes out day one on PS Plus Premium or whatever. I think that is what they should do. But to actually, there's no way. There's no way. What a moronic. There's no way they're going to make this the mainline Uncharted. Why do I say that? Well, A, it's just common sense. But also, the movie did great. That movie, Uncharted, cost $120 million. Right? And then if you throw in, you never know, but the conventional wisdom says double it for marketing. So 240. Let's just be super conservative and say the whole thing in was $300 million. The movie worldwide brought in $420 million. And the head of Sony Pictures says that Uncharted is a franchise, and they are counting on him, according to the head, to anchor the Uncharted film franchise going forward. So if you're going to spend that money, I mean, it would be like doing The Last of Us, which is getting all kinds of audience and kudos and all that shit, and then making another Last of Us and not having any of the characters. And you're like, what the fuck is this? Right? So there's no fucking way in God's green earth that this title is not going to be a Nathan Drake mainline. It just may not be. Yeah, Ravno says, Druckmann says they're done with Uncharted. Yes, but they don't own Uncharted. Sony owns Uncharted, and Sony owns Naughty Dog. So, that doesn't mean they're not going to make it. Of course they're going to keep. Are you kidding? Why would you not make another Uncharted? The Sousa says the next Uncharted won't be done by Naughty Dog. The quality will suffer and it won't sell. This is like Miss Cleo. And people will say it's cause it stars. People will say it is because it stars a girl. Maybe. We'll see. What do you keep reading, Jaffe? Reading what? I'm looking. What else should I read? Ellie's forehead is going to collect every punch from Abby in the second season. Jesus. Yeah, it may be a spinoff. Absolutely. Rumor, like we just talked about, Amazon buys Tomb Raider for twice the price of Embracer's Square Enix buyout. This has not been confirmed, I don't believe, but it's a pretty good rumor that Amazon has spent $600 million United States ducats to get the rights because they want to make TV shows and movies, and they are already funding and producing the next video game. It comes on the heels, though, of a very strange story, which Amazon is losing over 50 games on their streaming service Luna this month. They just lost about 50 last month or 2 months ago. You'd think, I don't understand. As a guy who loves streaming and has had great success with streaming, like, Game Pass and all these things, Luna and whatnot, neither Stadia or Luna seem to know what the fuck they're doing. It's like whether or not you love or hate streaming games is irrelevant to what I'm saying. If you are running that business and you don't know that the way to bring people to your business is exclusives, then you're a fucking moron. So maybe they're thinking, hey, let's fucking make it a fucking I can't imagine it would be exclusive on Luna. But boy, if anything's going to draw people to at least try out Luna, it would be that. Maybe they'll say, look, let's put it exclusive on PS5 for console, and then for streaming, you can only get it on Luna. I don't know what's going on over there. And I'll tell you something else. We got a guy, I'm not going to say their name, who was working for Amazon. Good dude. Great dude. Really talented dude. And but he and his team got laid off. There was a bunch of layoffs recently. Assuming it won't break NDA, and assuming that he's comfortable and interested, I would love, whether it's on camera, on audio, or just in a text, I would love to get his take on, is Luna, when you work at Amazon, is this just like a dead thing? Or is it like, no, dude, that's the fucking future? What are they doing? I don't fucking understand what the fuck they're doing. And it's a great service. It works great. But the content is like, why the fuck would I? Yeah, Sweet Tooth says I forgot all about Luna. Of course, why wouldn't you? What the fuck is there to play over there? Nitro says I think the new Tomb Raider might be a hit. Sure. The Crystal's made fucking great shit. Okay, I want to show you something. Hang on 1 second. I'll be 2 seconds. Got to grab something from next door. Okay. So there's a game coming out pretty soon, and they reached out to me and said, hey, we want to send you something. I'm like, okay. I was kind of thinking it would be a code or the game or whatever. And I got, this weekend, I went down to the UPS and I picked up this package they sent me. And this is one of the most elaborate things I've gotten in or out of the industry when I was working in the industry. Okay. And I've already taken all the cardboard out because it was a pain to unpack, not in a bad way, but just like there's a lot to it. This is hard plastic, right? So first, this is a fucking console. What the fuck am I looking at here, right? And you slide this thing out, right? And this is this is sort of a swag kit for the game, one of the games I'm very excited about this month. We talked about it at the beginning. Wanted Dead, right? Which is from the guys who did Ninja Gaiden, or at least a lot of the people who did Ninja Gaiden. It's this batshit, off the wall, crazy action fucking thing. And let me show you what's in this box, though. This is kind of nuts. First off, you know, the music's very 80s. There's a lot of remakes of like Donna Summer or 70s. They sing you music in this box. That's in the box. They give you some records, like actual records from, whoops, hang on, let me get rid of that. From Stephanie Juice. How do I get rid of the Neo GeoForge experience? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, Wanted Dead looks like Wet 2.0, which is great. I loved Wet. RPG says my anal beads came in a box like that. Either you ordered a lot of them or you've got a very big ass, sir. So this is, you think Wanted looks so damn generic? Eric asked me when the show's over, but while we're still on air, and I'll answer that. Let me just show you the launch trailer of this. Then I'll show you what else is in the box. To say this game, this is the trailer for Wanted. To say this looks generic, are you out of your goddamn... It may not be good. It may not be what you want to play. But are you out of your mind? Hang on, this is not the one. There's a bunch... They're doing a lot of viral stuff, but I think this is... Okay, here's the official trailer. Look at this fucking thing. To say that looks generic, now, I think I'm going to ultimately say it's too hard for me to play. But the idea that it's generic, I'm sorry, I don't fucking buy it. I don't fucking buy it. But that said, though, because you play this woman, and what's weird about it, I'll get back to the box in a second. You play this woman who, before she joined this missionary group, and I think you can control the other missionaries as well. She had a cooking show. She was a TV chef, and literally they have gone and they're all weird. It's almost Destructoid level, where they have gone and they've put a bunch of her cooking shows on YouTube, and she gets drunk while she. I look bored watching it. I've seen it 20 fucking times. She gets drunk while she's making food, and it's funny and it's weird, and clearly everything is not as it seems, right? Okay, so there's a lot to it. It's got a lot of personality, and And they send me this box, okay? It looks pretty cool. So Stephanie Jutson is a woman, I've never heard of her, but she's got some singles on the track. The records are really cool because they are just beautiful looking. I don't have a player, but there's like a blue one that has I don't know. I don't know what song. This one is She Works Hard for the Money, which is a remake from Donna Summer. I've heard that. You can see a video of that online. It's really fucking good. She Was Quiet. Yeah, I've never heard of her. Okay. Oh, that's cool. All right, good. Okay, let me show you what else they sent. This is pretty cool. Then they also sent a grenade. And yes, I did try to pull the pin, but it doesn't come out and I don't want to break it. I'll put that in the background, but that's just a nice little tchotchke there. Right. I know the minute I saw this, I was like, they need to do an energy drink with grenades, but I think they've done it before, but not like I want to pull the pin, which pops the thing to drink. It would be awesome. But anyway, there you go. That's that. And then this is my favorite part. Then they put in a fucking literal cookbook, Vivian's Late Night Chow. This is the woman on the screen that is the main character. And it literally is, I haven't gone through it specifically, so I don't know if it's littered with, some weird shit about the fiction and the IP, or if it literally is just a straight up cookbook. But it's pretty fucking cool. So I want to say thank you to those guys over there at 110 Industries. But more importantly, again, I may hate the game. You guys know me. I'm not going to fucking lie to you. I love the trailer. I love the idea. I love the swag box. Thank you guys for it. And I'm looking forward to the game. I hope they send me a code. And if not, oh well, I'll buy it. I'm happy to buy it. How do I get my hands on this, says Rob the Mod? I don't know. Reach out to 110. Tell them you want to play it and stream it. They reached out to me because I saw the trailer. And I'm hoping I can get the director on the show because I talked to him very briefly on Twitter as well. And they're like, hey, we want to send you something. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. It comes out Valentine's Day. Wet, if you're asking, Wet was a game that was like a straight up B action title on PS3 where you played this woman and it clearly was inspired by Tarantino and it clearly wanted to be Grindhouse and it achieved that to some extent, but it was a lot of fun. And so we'll see. But now I will tell you that Wanted Dead looks very similar to, because the pedigree of the developers, it looks a goddamn lot like it's going to be too fucking hard for me. So we'll see. Okay. Let me show you this briefly, but go check it out. Check out their website. They did a lot of really cool stuff in it, and see if it floats your boat. If you remember, when Ouya was announced, there was a Dice Talk that the CEO, she came out and she showed pictures of her little sister and her playing around video games when they were little kids around the TV. And she talked about how she wanted to bring that back. And whatever you think, and I hope you think well, even though clearly he's made some self-admitted mistakes, he's also a hell of a guy and a visionary and a talented guy, and I wish nothing but the best for him. Whatever you think of Tommy Tallarico, he had a very similar vision for what I assume is the Amico that will never, ever, ever come out, which is like he wanted to bring back simple gaming around the TV. Now, the thing that a lot of us gamers were always saying is like, that hasn't gone anywhere. You can play these games on PlayStation and Xbox and of course Switch. There's not, Alexa, stop. These exist. What are you talking about? But they were right, both of them, Tommy and the Ouya CEO, in that it's kind of a pain in the ass. You want to play games with the Switch, you got to buy new controllers, and then you got to sync this fucking thing up. It's just kind of, it's kind of pain in the ass. And then it's like, oh, wait, this is controlling the PlayStation in the other room, and I don't have any fucking cords to charge. It's not good. There is some truth to that. and especially when you're talking about a casual family audience, it should be easier. I just want to give, trust me, I'd take money from these guys. They don't, they're not paying me for this. I do want to bring your attention to this, though, because this has gotten a lot of play in my home with me and my kids and people who come over. This is Apple Arcade on Apple TV. Apple Arcade costs you $5 a month. And obviously Apple TV will let you stream movies and your phone and television shows and blah, blah, blah. It's great. But it also, and you can get Apple Arcade on your phone if you want, but Apple Arcade on your television screen, we have played this as a family so much. Games like Song Pop, Party, Crossy Road. They're some of the best games the last couple of years. There's a new Cooking Mama for it. There are RPGs for it. There's a game called Grindstone, which is about one of the best games the last couple of years. Jetpack Joyride 2, and none of these have microtransactions. It's all it's all $4 a month, and it's none of the mobile phone shit, right? It's wonderful. And you can subscribe and unsubscribe, right? So, buy it when you want it and kill it when you don't. But there are really good games on it. They have exclusives, and they have, games that are not exclusive but are really, really good. Just wanted to point it out to you guys. If you have kids or you have family or you have game nights, yes, you can use your phone as a controller, and you can also use controller as a controller. So this game, we've gotten more play on this game, which is basically name that tune and name that artist, but you can play it with your kids and with different generations, because we always make it so like the winner, it picks the next category. It's not a sponsor. I wish if Apple Arcade is ever watching, pay me. I will hype your shit within reason with whatever value you think I bring. But no, I'm just telling you, this game and this system is really cool. And a lot of people who were kind of shitting on the Ouya Vision and shitting on the Amico Vision, this is the closest thing out there to it, and it's pretty fucking good. It's pretty fucking good. Does it have Flappy Bird? Probably not. It's not a wasteland. It is a Optimus, you're missing the point. He says, I hate mobile games. I'm having fun for one level, then it comes an ad that's difficult to navigate out of.
Finish model snow.
Alexa, stop. That's not this. There are no microtransactions in these games. These are all straight up games. They may have some games that they took microtransactions out of, but there's no ads, no in-app purchases. It's just hundreds of games for $5 a month. I recommend it. Okay. Does it have What the Golf? I think it does. Let me check real quick and then we'll move on. I think it has What the Golf. Let's see. What games are included? Yeah, it has What the Golf. Sneaky Sasquatch, What the Golf, Angry Birds Reloaded, Temple Run, Lego Star Wars Castaways, Sonic Racing, and a bunch of new stuff. Okay, check it out. Don't, but I highly recommend it. Okay. I was going to talk a little bit about the obnoxious comments on my YouTube channel about my review of The Last of Us Episode 3. What's the point? I mean, at this point, I don't even know who's trolling and who's not. So I'm slowly starting to learn not to feed the trolls because I don't want to give them attention, but because I really don't know when they're serious anymore. And so I'm going to just not talk about that today. So I'll go to the chat. We're wrapped up. That's the news for today. But let's talk about what you guys want to talk about for the next 5-10 minutes. And then we're going to move on with our goddamn lives. And I'll see you guys later tomorrow. Maybe tonight streaming some of the Steam Next Fest. All right. Is it Eric Lennon has been asking me what have you been asking, man? Something about a girl. Jaffe, how do you deal with wanting a girl you know you will never have? Okay. Well, okay. You have to be careful, right? There's my answer. You have to be careful because if you really know that you'll never have her, which is the language itself is a little creepy, but I know what you mean, that you'll never be a couple with her. And you really feel that that train has left the station. Yeah, Jerry A says that never stopped Bill Cosby, right? But that train has left the station. If you really have made peace with that because she's made it clear, or you've come to a conclusion that that's where you're at, then cool. Then the question is, so let's take it assuming you've arrived there. I think at that point, you really have to ask yourself what the fuck you're doing, right? Because if someone is expressing a lack of interest in you in that way, but you still have affection for her in that way, you're sticking around for some reason, right? I saw it on an episode of The Good Doctor. They called it breadcrumbing. I had never heard that before, but apparently that's when you like someone and they give you enough of their time and enough of their affection, but not sexual, that at least you're taking crumbs from the table, but you're never getting the meal. I think if you get to a point where you know that's what's happening, then you have to be able to go, that's not good for you, and that's not healthy. And it's not as easy as the people in the chat that are saying, move on. It's an opportunity for you to go, why am I unable to detach from this? What am I afraid of more than the pain that I'm in right now? That if I say, I can still be friends with her maybe, or whatever my limits are, that's personal, it's up to you. But what is it that's causing you to basically harm yourself and to limit yourself of options because you know you're not going to ultimately be with her? Like, there's more going on than just, I love her and it's, like, it's my soulmate. No, it's not. None of that's real. That's a bunch of bullshit that you put on top of it to make it feel more special than it is, because underneath it, there's a very personal dragon that you have to metaphorically slay. Metaphorical dragon you have to metaphorically slay. And you don't want to do that. And so it's easy to kind of lock all the, oh, it's romantic and he's chasing her and all. No. It's not easy to move on. I'm not saying, oh, fucking move on. But there's a lesson there. And you're not learning it. You're not giving yourself the opportunity to go, what is this? Why am I acting this way? And how do I get better? That's would be my answer to you. Are you going to do an evening gabbing and games any day soon? Hello, Mr. K. I have something to call in to discuss, but I can't call in now. It's not about games. I haven't done an evening stream in a while. I may be streaming tonight on Next Fest. But this week I should for sure. Lord Garth, thank you for the super chat. He's been telling me this forever. He says, Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time is an amazing couch co-op. I really need to play it. That's part of the problem is it's not on Apple TV. And I got my PS4 out there. I got my PS5 in here. I got my, then I got to get cables for all the controllers. That's why it's a fucking pain in the ass. But I will play it. I know you've been telling me it's great for a very long time. Okay. Am I going to play Atomic Hearts? Yeah, it's fucking free. Why would I not? Are you going to get a PSVR 2, says official channel. I have no intention of getting a PSVR 2. If after a month the games come out and they trump beyond tech, but just experience the shit that I can do on my MetaQuest 2, then sure, I'll get one. But right now, nothing they have shown makes me go, I have to play that. It's impressive, and I hear people who've worked on it and played with it. It's amazing, but that's a technical response. But in terms of, I've put all these other games aside since PSVR 2 gave me an early copy of Horizon, because that game is the best game of the year. I've never seen anything or heard anything about the launch lineup that would suggest that. When they're asking for a collective of $1,000 plus the title, $70, $60, whatever they're charging to play their games, I need a little bit more than what they've shown. Brett Moore says, I don't like TV show version of Ellie. She's okay, but I can't picture her being a badass. I love her. Every episode, I fall more and more in love with that actress. She is great in the role, in my opinion. Have I watched Hogwarts Legacy reviews? I haven't watched any. I've gone to Metacritic and seen that it's sitting at like an 85. And I've also seen some combat videos on Twitter that look really, really great. But I don't really, I mean, you know, here's what I'll say about that game. You know, I have vacillated regarding buying it or not because of J.K. Rowling. My son, who is trans, he doesn't care. He's like, yeah, as long as she's not, you know, specifically hurting trans people, like with her money, and like this money goes to her and she's going to donate it to like transition or anti-transition camps, then sure. But that's not happening. So I vacillated. The problem is I have so many things I'm playing right now that I'm loving that I don't, there's nothing I've seen about Harry Potter, and I'm from a different generation. I like Harry Potter, but I didn't grow up like, oh my fucking God, I get to stay, you know, Harry Potter for a younger generation is my generation's Star Wars or something. So, you know, I don't really care one way or another. And the game they've shown looks beautiful, but I have so many other things to play. It's just not on my it's not on my radar. Lando says Game Pass is not free. Don't be that guy. I can't talk about this anymore, Lando. You know I love you. It's absolutely free. Psychologically, I know it's not free. Just like Netflix isn't free. Come on. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You know, subscription services, almost by their nature, have a built-in psychological buffer that once you give the money, a lot of people forget about it, and it doesn't really feel like it hits you every month, and it feels free. I know it's not really free. Come on now. Joel and Ellie's relationship is coming off strong too fast. Which X, good point. I haven't seen episode 4, but I did a review of episode 3, which I enjoyed very much. And in that episode, in my review, I said it's almost like you could feel the writers in the writer's room having their index cards on the board and going, in this episode, we have to hit 8 beats where Joel starts to warm up to Ellie. Like it seems a little fast. I agree with that, but I am enjoying the show for sure. The Metacritic says Mr. K regarding Harry Potter or Hogwarts, whatever, is lower than most reviewers are giving it. The actual video reviewers I trust are giving it glowing reviews. Yeah, it looks like it's a very well-reviewed game. It looks really well made, and if you like Harry Potter, it looks great. Yo, David, would you get one of those new 13 the i9 notebooks with the new RTX for gaming? No, because I need a desktop for what I do, but I've been needing a new computer for a while, and I don't like to spend money if I can help it. So I'm going to probably use this until it just doesn't turn on. Until I'm making, this is not me asking for your money. I hate streamers who do that, but I'm just sharing with you, until I'm making this endeavor meaningfully profitable, and it's not yet, which I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that until it is, I don't feel comfortable buying things that I don't really need, because I want to spend that money on the runway and the freedom to go, oh, I had a bad month with the stream this month, or we didn't make as much money as I wanted to this month. I don't feel stressed because I got plenty of money sitting aside because I'm not spending it on shit I don't need. But I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's awesome. And if you have a free one, you can send it to me. Jaffe, what does your beard smell like? My mom won't tell me. I won't tell you either. Ask her first. Or tonight when you're down there, give a whiff of the vag, and you'll know pretty quick. Okay. Fellas, that's Gabbing Games for February the 6th. We'll do another Gabbing this week. We'll do I Love the Weird next week. This will be going to the podcast. If you're interested, this show also goes up same day or next morning on podcast. I tweet out about it. Join our Discord. I would appreciate it. And keep an eye out for some videos this week where I am reviewing Dead Space Remake, maybe Hi-Fi Rush, as well as a bunch of the next fest. I'll probably put up 2 or 3 videos and stream hundreds of these demos they have. I won't do hundreds, but a handful of the really good demos for Steam Next Fest. Before I leave you, I'm going to play one more Elitist podcast game to get you on the wheel. If you remember, Friday we're spinning the wheel. At the moment, the only one on the wheel is Brett Moore. All right. Now, what this is? Let me remind you what this is. This is a new game they're playing over at the Elitist, where they play sound clips of a movie and a game, and the titles of the two get mashed up. And whoever is the first person to tell me the title of the mashup, not each thing, but the mashup, is going to get on the wheel for a $20 PSN gift card coming up on Friday, or the closest stream to Friday, which might be Thursday or Friday. Here we go. Let me pick one. Okay. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Welcome to the madhouse, man! I set a trap, and you sprang it gloriously!
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
There you go. What is the name of that mashup? What is the name of that mashup? I'll play it for you one more time. First person to type it, you got to type it in the proper name. Don't give me the things that are mashed up. What is the name? Here it is one more time.
Welcome to the madhouse, Batman! I set a trap, and you sprang it gloriously!
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Nobody's gotten it yet. Ravnos says it's not hard at all. Well, what is it, Ravnos? I give you guys 10 seconds. Then I'll just tell you, or I'll play it next time, see if anybody gets it next time. Or if I don't want to say anybody who comments in the chat after the fact, because I don't know, who the first one was. It's not Joker Jones. Ask yourself, Kyler Williams, all you're doing, Kyler, is giving me the name of the game. You're saying Batman Arkham Asylum. But that's nothing. I need to know what the mashup. Lord Garth, you're getting closer. You're getting closer. Yeah, you guys miss Gaming Vids is just put Arkham City, Indiana Jones, and Rob the Moth, just like Mark Hamill. I'm not asking you who wrote it or who voiced it. Put the names of both things together so they mash up and match. There you go. I am Ravnos, Raiders of the Lost Arkham. That's exactly right. All right, Ravnos, you're going on the wheel for Friday. Come on, fellas. We'll play this a few more times this week, and we'll see who gets the card. Okay, so I am Ravnos. There you go. All right, we got Brett Moore versus Ravnos at the moment. Fellas, be well. I'll see you on the next show. Take it easy out there and be nice to each other and all that good stuff. See you, fellas.